Hey, what is up everyone? Welcome back to another review, and today I'm taking a look at what could be one of the rarest gunpla in my collection, and one that, before I bought it, I didn't even know it existed. So this right here is a version of the Musha Gundam. This is a color variant for the most part, and this is based on Tokugawa Ieyasu. And in a way, to me, this is very, very special, because one of my favorite places in Japan that was relatively close to where I lived was a place called Nikko, which basically has a big, massive, beautiful shrine called Toshogu, which is a giant memorial to Tokugawa himself. So this is pretty cool. I never knew this existed. I knew of the Shin Musha Gundam, which I have, and the Musha Gundam, but I didn't know this variant was out there. So of course, because this is rare, hard to get, this video right here would not have been possible without those absolutely awesome people over at BUYEE. So if you're looking for some rare gunpla, then you will 100% find it over on BUYEE. Just if you want this one, you might have to, sort expensive to least expensive. But anyway, here we go. So jumping right on into the overview now, and there is the Musha Gundam Mk-II Tokugawa Ieyasu with absolutely everything that it comes with, and it's essentially the standard Gundam loadout without a shield, just, well, samurai style. So as well as the Mk-II itself, we've also got a pair of katana, 2 scabbards, one for each of course, a naginata, the beam rifle, and 3 little adapter segments for attaching the weapons onto the Gundam. But anyway, speaking of the Gundam, let's check that out first. So jumping right on into the 360 spin and the aesthetic. So this is what it looks like out of box, straight built. I've pretty much, well, done next to nothing with this besides 2 things. I did panel line the muzzle in silver just so I could see those 2 little iconic Gundam slits in the muzzle, and I also polished the armor because I wanted it to shine a little bit. Now, in general, when Bandai does gold on their kits, it doesn't really look that great. Here it is, the classic Bandai painted gold, and it's not too bad. The actual gold that is underneath it, the non-metallic gold, is a metallic injection, and again, this does look, at first glimpse, a little bit on the cheap side. I was actually going to do with this what I did with the Cathedral Gundam, which is paint up all the gold on it, but I decided against it for one main reason. That is because this is such a rare kit at this point, I really don't want to mess with it. I want to kind of keep it in its pure form. So what I did instead was, I just took the balancer by Gun Primer, took the white section, and I polished up all of the gold. Not the painted gold, the injection gold, and just to get a kind of cool shine on it. You know, it makes it look a little bit more intentional. That the armor is meant to look this color, not just be this color because of the process of making it. Anyway, let's get in a little bit closer. So beware while building this, you actually use the Tokugawa clan stickers, these ones right here, not the ones I had attached so far. Because it is the gold of the armor right here, and that particular symbol that does, well, conjure up the Tokugawa image. Just like this little sake cup right here, which I have a couple of, which I got in Nikko from a gift shop probably near that shrine. So this is a very iconic Japanese image right here. So if you are curious as to what makes this different from the standard Musha Gundam Mk-II, well, besides the color, not a whole lot really. Actually, just this right here. So this is the top of the head and the horns of the Musha Mk-II, and that is all that separates this particular kit from that one. I'll pop the picture up right now, just in case you're not familiar with that particular kit and mobile suit. So yeah, the only physical difference between the 2 kits is that helmet right there. Just in case you're curious, you've probably guessed it by now, but this is based off of Ieyasu's armor, which I'll pop up on the screen right here. This, well, I'm not gonna pretend I know what I'm talking about, I just googled this really quickly. So if you are familiar with this particular model kit right here, you might be noticing something on the arms and legs is missing. And that is something I find very intriguing and didn't know how Bandai would be pulling it off. And that is this floral type pattern that's meant to be on the legs and the arms. So as far as I can see, this just seems to be stickers. Standard stickers, not even foil stickers. So I'm not sure how these will turn out. There also seems to be a kind of texture to this, almost like paper. Very curious. Maybe it's emulating a traditional style paper or something. If I get in really, really close there, you can see there's a kind of almost like paper style weave or something pressed into this. This is interesting. So the attaching on of these stickers is a little bit difficult when it comes to the placement, especially on the upper arms. There is no flat surface to kind of align them to on the upper arms, but there is on the legs. But even still, quite difficult to get on. When they are on there, they do look fantastic, but I do feel like they're going to lift over time. They're already starting to lift right now, even though I did alcohol clean off every segment before attaching on the stickers. So I'm not sure if you could top coat these or what. It would kill the fantastic matte, almost paper-like texture that these particular stickers have, which would be an absolute shame. So I'm not quite sure what to do about these. They do look great, but I don't know how they'll hold up. Also, I will mention, as well as those stickers, we do have the sticker-style decals as well as the rub-on style decals that I think came from the standard version of the Musha Mk-II. So as for some size comparisons, there it is side by side with the Master Grade Gundam Mk-II 2.0, which it's based on, and beside the Master Grade Shin Musha Gundam. So jump back to the beginning of the video, and there's absolutely everything that this kit comes with, so let's take a look at everything one at a time. So when it comes to the hands in here first, these are the standard Gundam 2.0 hands, that is 3 fingers stuck together, an index that can move at its base, as well as a thumb that can also move at its base. These also have a peg in the palm of the hand, which is a little unusual for one main reason. The swords actually don't have a peg hole. That does mean attaching the katana into the hands is a little bit of a balancing act, so there is no clipping, no real grabbing, you're just kind of wrapping the fingers around them and hoping for the best. Once these are in the hands, they do look pretty cool. The actual chromed out blade makes them pop a lot, and the color scheme in general matches the mobile suit. So that is the gloss injection metallic gold on the hilt, and then we've got purple on the guard and the pommel, and the blade, like I mentioned already, is painted in a chrome Mk-II finish. When these are not in use, we do have a pair of scabbards as well as a pair of adapters for attaching onto this side skirting armor. This all attaches on very, very easily. You just slide the scabbard in like so, and then the sword can slide down into the scabbard and lock into place. This looks pretty awesome, and it's always cool to be able to attach that unused equipment onto the mobile suit. Awesome. Next up in here, we've got the Naginata, which is just a big old long blade on a stick. Just like we would have seen with the katanas, this does not have any kind of hole in its shaft. So that does mean you just kind of place it into the hand, and it doesn't have too much of an issue with it when it's not kind of sliding and rotating like that. But most of the time, this is absolutely no issue whatsoever. It's nice and light. When this is not in use, you can just pop off this little pommel bit at the end, slide on this little adapter segment right here, and that can attach then onto the backpack, just like this right here, like you would have seen in a Gundam Dynasty Warriors. The last of the weapons in here then is a beam rifle. So this is pretty much the standard Gundam Mk-II beam rifle with a nice old extended barrel. Got a shiny gold piece here. We've got a clear part in there for the sight segment. I will mention that is not colored out of the box, so just hit that with a green Sharpie, but there is stickers included. Unlike the close combat weapons we've seen so far, this does actually have a tab in the palm for holding onto, which is good considering the shape of this thing. Popping it in is the usual peg in the palm, goes into the hole in the grip, and then there you go. That is what it looks like. Basically just a black variant of what we would have seen with the Gundam Mk-II, and especially the Musha Gundam Mk-II. Lastly, when this is not in use, you just pop it out of the hand. We've got another adapter for this. Pop that onto the backpack, and the rifle stores on there, just like so. Simple as. So at this point is where I'm going to actually end the video, and you might be wondering, well, what about the articulation? So first off, the articulation on this is pretty much identical to what we would have seen on the Master Grade Gundam Mk-II 2.0. And that brings me to something that needs to be mentioned about this that I should have mentioned it earlier on, but if you are planning to get one of these, or maybe if you do have one of these, I will say that the gold metallic injection plastic on this is the single most brittle Bandai plastic I have ever come across. I have broken 3 things just while building this, and I wasn't even being heavy-handed. I took so much care while building this, but I didn't realize just how brittle it would be. So I broke one of the shoulder armor segments by putting too much force towards the bottom, and the lower the lever just ended up breaking it. The next break then was on one of the hilts of the katana. It just snapped while I was trying to push it into the purple slot it was going into. I didn't even put that much force on it either. And the last thing that broke, just while I was posing this thing, was the peg going into the upper arm. It just shattered into tiny, tiny little pieces. So if you are getting one of these, or if you do have one of these, take care with that plastic. It is shardy, brittle, and just destined to break. So that is why I'm not going to do the articulation in this particular video. But anyway, as for the ranking on this, it's hard to say. It's got such cool collector's value, but the actual model kit itself is pretty much just like the Master Grade Gundam Mk-II, which I think I ranked silver tier, which is what I would expect from a Master Grade, and I guess that is the case with this one too. Don't think that silver tier is bad, it is not, especially when it comes to Master Grade. It means this is what I expected from a Master Grade, which is always a lot. It looks fantastic, it's really cool, the stickers are unique, I don't know if they'll hold up, but that plastic is so brittle, so be careful. This is mainly a collector's item only, it seems. So if you're just one of those crazy collectors that needs everything that you can get, especially if it's a Master Grade, especially if it's Gundam, and especially if it's samurai themed, this is one you will definitely want, but don't be too heavy-handed with it. Anyway, as always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to come back for more Gunpla reviews, and I'll see you next time. As always, this video right here would not have been possible without each and every one of you guys who watches my videos, including those of you who help out on the channel memberships and over on Patreon, including Craig Jerry, Van Fawn, Sean T, Mr. Winter, Lauren C. Hack, Joseph Kuklock, Global Frequency Studios, Forsetti, Caleb Engelhart, and Bakuto Official.